Alright, today's day 2, and I don't have something totally inspiring to inspire the masses, or even myself for that matter, but I just wanted to mention, I just finished jiu-jitsu again, and even if I get completely annihilated, even if I get completely steamrolled, I'm just so happy that I went. Because the rent is due every day, and I'm just very happy that, I put in the work. And, because you never, this is a cliche quote, right? But you never lose, right? You either win or you learn. And today, I did some winning, but I felt like I learned as well, especially near the end. I try to spend a lot of time rolling with people who are better than me, which is almost, it's like most people. But, yeah, just to learn. After every time, I think it's so important. And this could go for jiu-jitsu or business or, I don't know, arts or finance or biology or anything. Anything in life that you learn. Cooking, you know what I mean? Is try to make a mental note every time you're seeing things being demonstrated or you're experiencing failures yourself. Try to take a mental note to ask questions. Ask as many questions as you can, and there's never a dumb question. Do not put off learning something for weeks, months, or even years just because you felt too ashamed to ask a question. You know what I mean? People are there to teach you. And there are other people who might also think that your question is dumb. And I've heard this quote myself, exactly as I'm wording it. It's nothing new, but sometimes you need to be reminded. Like I said before, most people know what they need to do, but they don't do it. You know what I mean? There's a difference between knowing and putting into practice. It's a difference between successful people and just people who just feed their brains but don't convert it into muscle. You know what I mean? It's like working out. You can eat all the protein that you want. You can eat all the calories you want. If you're not working out, you're going to put on excess fat, and you're not going to be as strong as you could be, and you're not going to be as healthy as you could be. Your bones aren't going to be as dense as they could be, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So all that to be said, ask the questions that you think might be too dumb to ask, and don't shy away from them. Don't be ashamed. Ask them and just say, hey, I'm struggling, and objectively, your best option at getting better is just asking the quote unquote stupid question in your head. It might be stupid. I don't care, man. I don't care. But I also wanted to mention, regardless if I get beat up or if I do well in jiu-jitsu, the rent is due every day, and you got to train. And every time, I find, as far as mentally speaking, every time beforehand, when I'm going there, I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I really need to do better at this. I really need to do better at this. I'm really not where I want to be on this, and that. Every time afterwards, I'm so, optimistic. Even if I'm getting steamrolled, just because I feel like I learned even a smidgen more. I got even a smidgen better every day, and it all compounds, Like I said before, one class itself might not seem groundbreaking. It might not seem like it's changing anything in your day-to-day or how you perceive your skill to be or anything like that. But after a month, after 2 months, 6 months, a year, if you keep going consistently, all of a sudden you're going to look back. You won't notice it right away, but you look back one day and you'll be like, wait a minute. I'm not the same guy who I was. You know what I mean? So never take that for granted. Don't beat yourself up too much. Obviously, you need to have a healthy, discipline to know, yeah, I need to improve this. I need to lock in on this. I can't slack on this and that. But just be aware, you never want to get to a stage where you quit because you feel like you're just not made for it. You know what I mean? I'm not of the belief that someone is not made for something like martial arts or I don't know, cooking. It doesn't matter what it is. You know what I mean? We're all humans. We all have 2 hands. At the end of the day, it comes down to discipline, how much you want it. People love to say that motivation doesn't mean anything. People love to say that, you might as well just disregard motivation entirely, it's useless. No, motivation is important. You ever heard the quote, I want it more than you? There's a reason that quote, holds so true, and why you see it so much at people who are at the top level of their discipline. You know what I mean? Because they're obsessed. They're obsessed and they are motivated. Objectively, they're motivated. So, you know what I mean? Maybe you really want to make money, but you want to do it whichever way. And you don't really care if it's something you enjoy or not. And so you decide to get into the concrete business. Buddy, you don't give 2 guacamoles about concrete. You know what I mean? Like, you'll never be as good as the guy who obsesses. I don't know why anybody would obsess over concrete, but you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say somebody wants to be a chef, right? But to be honest, they'd rather just order Uber Eats for the rest of their life. But they feel like chef is like a lucrative endeavor, so they really try to get into, like, I don't know, cooking school. I don't know how people become chefs. I don't want to be a chef. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to be as good as the guy who I don't know, like, on his first bowl of chicken Alfredo went, oh man, I want to be a chef, and worked hard every day after that to be a chef. Maybe his dad was a chef. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to be as good. Like, you're never going to be as good as that guy. The guy who loves his craft will always be better than the guy who's just doing it because it feels like it's lucrative. So, yeah, you know, I know I'm just kind of rambling now, but that's the message for the day. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. And yeah, let's keep consistent with this.